As you now know, all materials exist as matter, and that matter is made up of atoms or molecules. Some substances are made up of atoms that are all the same. An element is a substance made up of only one type of atom. For example, a nugget of pure gold contains only gold atoms, or a piece of copper wire contains only copper atoms. In Chapter 16, we already learned that each element has its own symbol. We also learned that each element has an atomic number and a mass number, from which we can tell a lot about the atoms of an element. Just like there are a finite number of letters in the alphabet that make up all the words in the English language, there are a finite number of elements from which all matter is made. All of these elements are listed in a very organized manner in a table called the periodic table of elements. Elements are arranged in order of atomic number, from the lowest to the highest. Here you can see the table starts with hydrogen with an atomic number of 1 and ends with uninoxyum, which has an atomic number of 118. The section below the table is usually taken out to make the table easier to fit onto a single page. If we were to insert it, the table would look like this. At the time of print of this book, this was the most complete version of the periodic table. The elements with atomic numbers 113, 115, 117 and 118 had only just been discovered, and they hadn't yet been given official names. See if you can find out what their official names are now. The periodic table lists elements in rows and columns. The vertical columns are called groups and are numbered from left to right. The horizontal rows are called periods and are numbered from top to bottom. This arrangement actually helps us make sense of the full list of elements. Elements in the same period have the same number of electron shells. For example, every element in the second period has 2 electron shells, and every element in the third period has 3. Elements in the same group share similar chemical properties. This helps us predict how they might react in certain chemical reactions. Only some of these groups have been given names. Group 1 are called the alkaline metals. Group 2 are the alkaline earth metals. Group 7 are the halogens, and Group 8 are the noble gases. You will learn more about these groups and the properties they share further on in this chapter. You may have noticed a bold line dividing the table into 2 parts. This divides the table into metals and non-metals. Metals are usually shiny, malleable, and can conduct electricity. Non-metals are dull, brittle, and cannot conduct electricity, although there are some exceptions to this rule. This is another way in which we can answer some questions about an element just by looking at its position in the periodic table. If you look up the periodic table online or in different books, you will see many different versions of it that look slightly different, but the groups and periods are always the same, as is the line dividing the metals and non-metals. What can change from table to table are the colours used to classify the elements further. This table classifies the elements as follows. White is assigned to hydrogen, which is sometimes shown as a group all on its own because it is so unique. Red shows the reactive metals, orange are the transition metals, yellow are other metals, green are non-metals, and blue are the noble gases.